We interviewed over 50 businesses from different parts and ranging from different regions of Scotland. We covered south of Scotland region, Highland and Island, and the Central Belt. Also, we maintained diversity of different sectors, so private sector, small and medium enterprise, startup businesses, leaders, as well as membership organizations, and third sector and charitable social enterprise organizations, because we wanted to collect the views and thinking of a situation of COVID, which is nobody has seriously expressed or seen before, but a lot was changing. So to capture that and to understand and learning from there what a resilient business looks like, we had multiple roundtables with business leaders. And what we found that there was a range, and there were sectors which were affected, and like food and drinks is obviously one, but then there was also businesses which were reasonably quick to pivot, and they had the structures, whereas there were some sectors which found it very difficult as well. So this was the key learning part in terms of what does that resilience look like. So one thing that emerged in these things is the points of control, where the decision is being made, and whether that's applied to the business decisions that impact businesses in terms of decisions are made centrally or locally at the local council level, or even agency supports there. Then there is a point of control within the businesses that had or are able to do the flat hierarchical structures, whereas because the changing, evolving situation, they could pivot quickly. They could make decisions which are beneficial. Those who had the structures which hadn't enabled them to make those decisions, and they had to rely and elsewhere the decision should come, they certainly sort of found it very difficult. Then the other aspect is financial resilience. So the businesses that were ready and able to have the financial resilience attributes, those information of government tried to put, for example, one of the best scheme that has sustained business employment and general employment in the community is furlough scheme. Every business that we spoke to really was full of praise for that. So government done right there, supporting businesses through that, maintaining that level of confidence so that businesses could retain. But in terms of businesses not understanding what financial support is out there, what the financial resilience attributes look like, I think they were challenging, and that would be key going forward, thinking about how can businesses plan and prepare strategically, what a financial resilience learning is, what the traits are, and how they can think what if scenario. Then the third thing was leadership as natural, that the businesses and organizations of different sectors and different regions is that the leadership that enabled and empowered their employees and have that confidence, spoke to them, communicated to them, and were able to pivot, diversify, and modify in the challenge phase of crisis, that certainly were able to survive, whereas those who struggled or were lonely, were not able to draw on other resources, found it very challenging, and those were the businesses that really found it difficult to explain. So I think one of the key learning is from there is that to look at that business leadership concept and business leadership, whether it's providing mentoring, training, or preparing leaders for future. And then the fourth point was about the diversity, and that was the diversity of all kinds. It's not simply diversity of thought, diversity of gender, or diversity of origin, but also the diversity of supply chain, markets, and where they were sourcing, and diversity of income, because there were businesses, examples of them, who pivoted and they could put another business, a product out there from their business group, and they were the ones that had some income to survive. So I think these are the key points that to look at. So diversification, pivoting ability, decision-making ability, and to maintain the business, obviously financial readiness, and the confidence and empowerment of regulatory requirements that is required from external government leadership. Those were the key points that emerged. So I think one of the key recommendations that came out from Commission's report was a foresighting center. So thinking about something which can actually at strategic level think years ahead. And now we know none of us have crystal ball to gaze into it, but doing a concerted effort about something that we can actually plan scenarios and future predict to say this, if this happens, how are we preparing? So what if scenarios and a response to that would be very helpful. Foresighting Center can provide the knowledge that this business, this is coming, because trends change, market trends change, and sector preferences change. As a result, stock market of what is hot and what is not change. But also the ask of the society change. For example, at the moment there is so much focus, and with COP26 just concluding, it's requiring that the businesses respond to that. So how are they going to change their business model or their practices if they are working in one area and now they need to respond to utilizing renewable or clean practices for that? So if it is a 1 year cycle and every business need to balance their book, they are not sure if the same grant can be renewed next year or same funding can come through even from, so having that longer planning cycle. Even for example, the agencies, they rely on balancing their books at the end of it, even though they can project 3 years. But similarly, if they are able to give confidence to the businesses that if you qualify, if your business plan and strategy relates to taking it this plan in 3 years time, once given, you have that constant supply or thing, that would be the confidence. It goes back to the availability of finance, the optionality of it available, so those who want to move in. But a strategic point of view, it will go down to that mindset that we don't tie it to 1 year cycle. We look for 3 to 5 year programs, and once a program or a business's need justify that, if they have more money, they can go down this trajectory. And if they are obviously it's milestone based, so if they meet the milestone, go, but that should be put into practice to allow that confidence for different. One thing that came loud and clear, and we have seen that in real life during the COVID period, that when the crisis came, organizations rose to the plate. They lifted their head above parapet and sort of said, right, how can we help? Going forward, I think that should be one key learning for us, to say businesses playing a more active role into our communities, into our society. And there are 3 points to that. One, I would say there are bigger tasks ahead for government. They need to provide better structure for digital enablement and for the AI, machine learning, and robotics, the areas that are emerging, and the clean technologies. And these tasks, while public sector has a key role in providing that basic finance, which takes away the risk from private sector, but this enormity of scale is such that the public sector finance is not going to be enough. And businesses are now thinking about it lots. You see BlackRock CEO Larry Fink and big pension funds and big corporates, they have all established their ventures, corporate ventures, in which they are moving to invest into businesses, startups, and innovation related businesses. And the point for that is they are coming onto the same territory where venture capitals were playing. But that same finance, if we link it to environmental, social, and governance ESG criteria, as well as the 17 development goals, which is the Sustainable Development Goal SDGs, then businesses have a motivation to come on board because they want to show that societal impact, and they obviously are economic impact is a big criteria for that. But if we merge the two, this is the optimum time where the businesses might and the deep pockets can be utilized to solve societal and community and national challenges. The key priority for that would be that the government can take these priority, make the initial risk reward scenario easier for businesses to take part, but also take businesses on the same table and come together, public private sector discussions, to say how can we solve this.